It's getting late. On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and neck. The bed is comforting, if. Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark.
Recorded in you. Forever. On ferret.
On and on it goes. For untold hours.
Behold, there are millions of them.
It's the world, Harry boy. And your mate. You can never forget this shit.
Beautiful. It's
You're the son of the world again. Harrister. A ceaseless agent.
reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this.
For the working class. For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth. There he goes again. He's a real political animal.
He's got no idea what he's in for.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry.
You can do it. It's nothing. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all. Good. You're up. Listen. There's something that's been... It's a suspicion. Or a feeling real. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control. The center isn't holding. And despite your efforts to moderate... Oh sure, you've been making progress, but who's focusing on the big questions? But have you ever seen them? How do you know? You've got to find out who bears la responsabilité. The most awesome, it is human nature to crave la Harry, your la responsabilité isn't concerned with trivial questions like who killed who. It's about the real. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship like a committee. Only the most even-keeled, your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to. Together, you'll be able to discover who has la responsabilité in Revachol. And, if necessary, most likely, your findings will be collected in a... Once they've reviewed it, those same... Rest assured, no matter what happens, it will be done through the... Good luck. Your report.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help?
one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine
Yeah, tribal shit.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal...
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man.
I can tell you who we're not, cop.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and...
The part of this presentation you want...
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These...
You don't know?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
The question was rhetorical. The skulls are the most vicious gang of the
Besmatine, or the Besmati, the immortal...
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-off.
If a skull spots you, he will pull out...
The lieutenant's voice is as calm as usual, a testament to the violence and death he...
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom like some wretched...
Murder?
Yeah, sure.
Also, he was hanged.
Yeah.
These punks don't know.
Hey! Stop!
Ah, this sounds like epistemology. A field so occupied by thought that it begins...
Exactly. How can one...
What if it's art? Or just a mere specter?
No reply. The blonde rebel scratches his chin.
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper...
Yeah! A true artist of the...
by the way, if you see Cindy, give...
For all their nihilistic posturing, the lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Oh man, yeah! We're not fucking...
Be wary of the abyss.
Probably because of how non-verbal their mode of operation is going to be. It's a threat. But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drop...
Hey, there's no need for that.
Yeah, didn't you cops, like, have some questions about skulls or some shit? We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Because we can be just as psycho and...
But in a non-threatening and definite...
We'll fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now. The damn...
Right on, fuck. So what's happening now?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least we're gangs.
Don't you worry about...
Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm. What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something... The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is... What I mean by this is...
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the what. To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times. And even then it isn't... You get more fish in a shorter time. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks.
Hate to admit it. Is it a coincidence that here we have two badass jackets and two badass cops?
Yes? What is? What are you implying? For what? The concept of getting dressed is familiar to me, but wearing jackets like these isn't appropriate. Neither. Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace seems about right, especially considering...
That's an origin story.
So are we done here? Or... You don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
No, no, no. Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that. Suggest their massive skull.
What? Skulls don't have...
Yeah, man, keep your voice down.
Prospect must be a hierarchical term.
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects in a
He gets it.
Shut the fuck up!
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jacket?
You got it. No need for cruelty.
Oh, man. Okay.
Fuck.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you. This case doesn't require us to go undercover or raise a...
Cold-hearted cop.
Do.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing alone,
I don't know, Eric.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? One moment. Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell.
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library card? Good. Yeah. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there any... I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the...
We should try again.
Anything else, Detective? 57.
In the cabin, you see a set of...
Always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul, if he's got principles.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. Goodness, how is he? Did he...
He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back early.
Oh, yes. That's my... But I am so relieved to...
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging body's foul. Her heart won't rest until...
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old...
Reflexively,
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a toll. I'm getting ahead of myself.
she'd just started forming memories.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds.
She had no fear.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just... I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could... For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress. We were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant.
Our first, yes. Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them. It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small.
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
Of course. I've thought about it. So how did I know what to imagine? You trying to tell us you saw the Insul Indian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here. They just give me a sigh. You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I can.
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own. Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The horse.
Looking for something?
Men like this only respect to...
Fuck you, I told you.
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green bank.
When did she...
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like...
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore.
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now leave me the
A small temple by the monument. Green.
Looks like he got his adrenaline up, too. This screen found, A to Z, contemporary, is part.
This must be the one he told us about. Unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered. Posters cover the small windows in the back. You can't make out. The door is locked. The handle looks sharp.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the... This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporary, is part. This screen found A to Z, contemporary. With a firm grip, you raise the pry bar. A glint of light catching on the tip. Call down the hammer. The window shattered.
Subtle.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the low. These, one of them, particularly. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy. The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented. The actress is draped in a sheath dress. This is Tijon, a starlet. She wasted away in a drug den called The Door to the River. The actresses and the rear actor all smile. Looks like the frequency dial is absent.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of it. Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key.
The ghostly actresses, and you wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. But one odd detail. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique? Yes? Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. Looks like her, yes. Now we know for certain who is the missing 8th person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys could also be involved in the drug operation? We should talk with Titus, see what he's got to say on the matter. Are we finished with the lorry?
The movie stars are still smiling from the wall. Voila! A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind this.
Bonne prise.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 8. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881. High above the massive brown to Kuro, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to... This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers, and the final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of motorway 881. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network.
So it would seem. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet the Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the with cool names like La Puta Madre and Aura Mazda. It's a dark parody. It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation is bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is a brave man for saying Madre's name. Especially bad news for cops who may have something in their past they don't.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The a metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's an issue of Peripherique. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. These formulas look oddly painful.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, You
pull that toolbox slides back into its neck. You close the...
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in... Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect.
This means it's well funded. Technology like that.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way.
Listening in on your calls.
Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnel. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy Boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the...
The probe and the case converged, he thinks.
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade. Yes, well... Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, as elegant as they are, I don't... Yes, well... We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narco... There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madre grouping is in... All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Debrief over. After you.
I, saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble? Still better than me, I guess. Told you there's plenty of others who'd tell on her. But, is she in trouble? It's that bad. Man, what should I do? What should I do to help her? Yeah, maybe I should just keep my head down and work on my rhymes while I can. Oh, you know, Tommy Leham's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang.
The correct grammar is Tommy Lahom.
Tommy Lam was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte.
It's more him. The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
I don't believe it.
The bemusement in her voice doesn't fully mask genuine tenderness.
There'll never be skulls, but their hearts are in the right place. Fat chance. But you can still do your part to revitalize the neighborhood.
She throws you a conspiratorial glance, then
Have you noticed the quiet? Every so often, this place is a sepulchre. We'll paint it red. We bring the raucous. You bring the siren.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? My love, you did. Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of... What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter?
How about you share your information on the lynching?
The goalposts have moved, Lieutenant. In the absence of the badge, I have informed my employer there will... I cannot rescind that promise. To my knowledge, the drivers are still at the roundabout. I will tell you everything I... My plan is to share information. The only way to do that now is by telling my employers you've...
Meaning, the information she has will... How bad?
The sooner the probe is finished, the sooner I can share crucial information with you. Now, is there anything I can do for you in the meanwhile? Tea, perhaps? Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may...
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours. Exactly. But what?
Okay. I thank you for sharing that much with me. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid...
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron.
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy... They were dispatched after I relayed the Union...
Every work...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are
Who are they?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and...
So, what...
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags, and nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal.
What is the nature?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
It will be all of them. The decision is already made.
Surely you're joking. These people are killers. My only hope is that yours provides a single concrete suspect. If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching.
They would have to project.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will...
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Seraï's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons. As I said, a bloodbath.
Maybe a good bloodletting is just what Martinez needs.
Clean. Yes. Nothing will grow here for 20 years. Crenell will send in gunships and the coalition government will follow suit. Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Lieutenant W. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private. They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lawrence, and
Meaning they're used to operate.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supramundi. Yea. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could.
Do you know a lot about the...
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Not much. Their public resume is... Yes. Sadly, if you still have...
Do you know a...
In my line of work... Yes. I'm afraid this...
Since you're...
Then we're on the same page. As grim as it may be. Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal, that the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around...
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did...
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. Good. Then you've made progress. It's imperative that you move fast. If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them. One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul.
What would you say was his eye color? The deceased.
She closes her eyes, trying to...
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she...
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat...
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, or a knee. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury.
Must be hard to force your face to move in a new fashion. If you continue like this, you'll have an aneurysm. Then you'll have to...
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes.
Vigilantes? You should show those meatheads exactly how savage you really are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate...
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied.
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
That would afford a good vantage point.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know.
They don't report their progress to...
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help... Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, she wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short.
It was taken with a trigger not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hand.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways. A sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of... quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and...
The old world passing by, and the new...
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments. His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and... I am relieved you think so. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabinier do for you? Unfortunately, in Martinez, cop is a...
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing.
I'm confident they are indispensable in regard to all the paperwork and other administrative duties. But you must agree that nature, in her infinite wisdom, has made men more fit to perform certain... No reason to even feel bad about that. It's just the way...
It is such a pleasure to see you again. Sweet, sweet Jenny. Of course, officer.
Save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Look around, officer. Is this really the economy we want to leave to our children? That's the spirit. We've all got to do our part. Your part is to open the box and buy some clothes. Keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing.
No good. All you can come up with are some treated wool. They itch. The itch is...
All natural materials, see? Real wool, 100% skin friendly, and they're...
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here. A pair of...
Those sneakers...
Only? That's madness.
No way, officer! These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist... No, officer. You're a high-class policeman who accepts nothing less than the best. Lucky for you, I've got the best on sale. You do, officer, you do. Remember. The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100.
Side, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I... Hold on. I've got Central Jamrock Public Library.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock.
He sounds worried, yet ready to assist.
Billy Majon. Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Majon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days. Marie? Marie? Do you remember?
Maurice, what? A woman yells. Then,
Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband.
good. You have a name now.
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here.
And then goes for a little drink later. On the...
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight. Marie? She said it was an older man. And, sorry. Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that. Happy we could help. Goodbye.
Anything else you need from me? Still no word, I'm afraid, sir. I know it must be frustrating. Was there anything else? 57?
In the cabin, you see a set of...
Give me a moment. It's about Victor, isn't it? It's always about Victor with her.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
A weathered brown door. Something small. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock.
You're right. Let's talk this through.
You hear some light footsteps and...
We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got dead. Just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
Good advice. The lieutenant motions towards the door.
Hello? Who is it?
And someone turns down the radio.
The police. A moment, please.
Tidy enough. There's fear in her.
Come in. The door is open. It's you from the bookstand. Did you come to bring my cockatoo back? I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy.
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses, and he must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
Is this about Victor, my husband? No, this is something much worse.
How about some small talk? It's like ripping off a bandage. The least painful way is to do it straight away, without stalling. You've done this before. Just keep your focus.
What did you say?
A great and terrible spike.
Oh. But he was just...
But he was just here.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner...
What happened to him? Was he drunk? I see. And you just found him. How long had he been?
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever. She blinks, eyes welling up with tears. The handkerchief. A small, terrified smile quivers on her face.
Is there anyone we could call for you?
No. I just need to tell my girls.
It burns like acid.
God, should I call?
No. A day.
Good. That's probably the right. Just tell me, what do I need to do now?
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number. Is there anything else that...
No, I'll call you if something comes up. Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
We should step outside and talk. You did well. You did enough. Can save the whole world.
Can't bring the dead back.
I'll call the station when we're finished with the day, and let them know the name of the deceased. That's it. We should get back to our... They'll manage.
They have to. It's not your place to live there.
Let's go. Yes? Yes. I don't know what to say. Perhaps, I'm not really sure about this turn of events. I think the mutton chops might... Either way, good on you. You were saying? Excuse me? Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state.
Oh, so you're an unaccountable wreck who has to be supervised? You don't have to take this display of authority. You can.
Except that I do, detective. That's good. Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. Please do. We wouldn't want your...
The lieutenant is pretty sure self-care is just a euphemism for nihilistic binge drinking.
I'm glad to hear it, Detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this very subject. If you ask me, it's high time for you to set aside these frivolous side tasks. Why are you pronouncing it like that gentleman from... You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for? But isn't that our job? Next I suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a... Fascinating. And here, in any event, I am just a humble law official. You know who might be, though? That Mr. Villeudran, the gentleman you met. If I were trying to get in touch with the coalition, I would start by seeking him out. But first you might need to... Now, was there anything else?
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the drawers.
Mister, I'm not gonna bother you with a long...
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of my... You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strong...
Hear that? You did it the honest way. You got the real signatures, and now he's happy.
Harry! By now, you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant...
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place, a wasteland, there's nothing left. But mark my words, officers, we reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans. Harry, imagine a youth center supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast... Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. I accept your salute, Harry. All of it is true. I've got the center, I've got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years I'll get the church too. The wheels are turning, Harry. the wheel.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state. The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that.
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and...
You would look nice as a statue.
Oh, I do, Harry. I really do. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier with that boat of yours. That's my...
A true flash of anger in him, as he thinks of her.
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public, the more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in... Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait, we're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth.
So that's why you haven't let John...
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her ass. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can get... It's already happening. 2,372.
2,300, and they're all well motivated. At least the ones you've seen.
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo... We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal 100... All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad. Has bad optics. We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your...
Benefit is a children's cold medicine. Usually...
And the kids on the street can get...
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a... But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
Yes, of course. And while you're doing that, please go ahead and also tell the one. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbour's turnover, just like the harbour is, but a small part of Martinez. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls. I'm going to unite them all into one economic body. We're going to incorporate this place to...
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
No, Harry. That's boring. All right, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials... Boys, Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporated socialism I'm offering? Yes, if you start thinking about it like that, the socialist municipal body sort of is like a corporation, isn't it? It uses corporate... Oh, you mean what? We've been running back with renewed zeal...
That's drug traffic.
Drug traffic. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's... So am I. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk... We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry.
Benefit is...
And the kids on the street.
I'm an old fan, but if I were...
He's basically admitting to it.
It's also far removed from my men and the people... Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all... Let's look at the big picture. Martinez, I'm gonna unite them all into one economic...
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
Harry, the future I have in store for Martinez will have all the macho as they...
Oh yeah, skull and bones. Skull and bones on the Revacholian flag. The Revacholian Death Squad. Oh yeah, the visual image has completely bedazzled you. You're 100% with Everard now.
We're way past specific union members now. This is the... You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry. Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this... Your gun is with an old woman. I hear she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry.
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady.
There it is again. The pigs.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous.
She will be there from 2200.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Mars. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something, I'm always happy to educate and entertain you, my friend. So, very nice, Harry. Is there anything else? Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations.
Actually, Revachol doesn't have him. He refuses to discuss it further. Not even a speck of anger in his voice. That's that then.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to him. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of... We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I helped you get the body down. And I'm helping you find your...
Whoa, that's so nice of him. Suspiciously nice.
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows, Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election could...
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a...
If it's spilled blood you're looking for, then there certainly isn't any in his expression or demeanor now.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those...
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her...
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay. It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The vowels are blurred. Lower intestine. The term is fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane. Yes, women, men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy, that's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. Stomach truth. You're having a stomach because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many. Okay, that sounds much better. Traditionalism. You're going to keep your views for the nation. Smart. Best not to mention the women too often. That's why you're the head and I am the stomach. Of course you are, Bruta. Of course.
Hey, mister! I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like... Mr. Everett doesn't really want me to talk to people about union guys. Mr. Edgar is Mr. Everett's brother. He looks a bit younger, he does, but a very smart fellow. All kinds of places he visits. Him and his brother both do when left with the first autumn rains and...
South Safari. A lot of bulk chemical manufacturing going on there. A lot of cargo
He's a union man through and through. Good guy. He's very calm. Honestly, I don't know what he does for us, but it must be important because everybody likes it.
Oil for the wheels. Much needed in stressful times like these.
Whoa, he's really something. He doesn't talk much to me usually, but once he said he's a dragon to this mob fellow who came picking a fight with some union men. I think he really believes Jean-Luc was a dragon because he ran right off. Oh, Titus is a longshoreman through and through. He was born on a boat, they say. His veins are probably filled with salt water, I tell you. I'd best not. I mean, I could, but I don't think Mr. Everett would like it very much. You better ask him yourself, mister. The night guard? Ooh, he's a peculiar fellow. We talk all the time, but I don't really know much about him. He plays petanque with my old human studies teacher, Mr. Martin, down at the plaza. They lived on the same street their entire lives. Even dated the same girl on and off for as long as I can remember. Mr. Martin, yes. Don't really remember much about him. I was just a boy back then. Sure, mister. What can Leo do for you?
Hold up, wandering man. How can I help you?
Looking for something?
It is such a pleasure to see you again, officer.
The purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul, if he's got principles.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminoese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you?
bent metal. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Look, there's a discarded milk carton on the floor. Why don't you destroy that, too? Kudos. Barbell lies on. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their... Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same Slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, and then... That's a good question. Reality is... Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered. Some of the writing has faded. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures, translucent Welkins, with organs shining up. Who are all those creatures? One of the Welkins, towering among the rest. It's Vara Hamira, a high well, the Haldor, the Twarg.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. This looks like concept art for a project. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. Just look at those details.
And for what? All gone. The photo collage depicts barren, icy land. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are you see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, albeit dark and cold. This vision also, a pinned postcard reads, "This is a monthly calendar from the year." It looks a bit like Mini-Me stands for a mini meeting. It's as time goes on, the numbers.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner. The handwriting is only partly legible. The full text reads, "Heat death of the..." A dusty radio computer sleeps on its wired frame.
Another radio computer. Just sit. But we are looking for a fridge, and we are...
On the other hand, it's not that I'm not interested in abandoned...
It's your call. You're in charge of this expedition.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric... It's empty, like a beehive. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the... Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de... Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password. I am contractually obliged to protect the
I'm afraid we are not doing that.
Now, can you please repeat? Proceed.
That sounds bad. Don't worry.
Fortress accident. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Nothing happens. This old fireplace is covered in... The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Varied history classes, students with radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123, unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one... Looks like a surveillance program. Someone the leader of a massive a conductor for the hundreds of story threads that whoever decides to call in, a list of names under the stations suggests all of this is gone. There's no way a little basement...
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. The schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble.
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? Yes, I got that. What I meant was, what were their ambitions? Because this here...
He has respect, and this is way above your tiny...
Okay, well, I think it looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers, through call-in stations. None of the players have to be physically present. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call. Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in...
Not in Revachol.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an interisolary game before. We just don't have the technology. Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real.
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule. Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep...
Your flashlight, some of the writing has faded with age, but this is... It looks a bit... Mini-Me stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a big... As time goes...
Looks like they didn't...
A note in the bottom left corner of the handwrite. The full text reads...
Yes?
An iron safety curtain. What an odd thing to do. Still nothing. Those curtains prove to be surprisingly sturdy.
Can you please try to refrain from attacking random things? Why do you think there's something on the other side? In any case, there's no way we can get in right now.
As before, an iron safety curtain curves before your eyes. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the filament slides out of its glowing nest. You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange... This ice bear is... The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy? A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Of course, a giant ice bear-shaped fridge. Just what we were looking for.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attacked.
It's certainly an eccentric choice.
Your visual confirms. You could...
Shall we go and get the body then? I'll take the head, you take the feet.
The body is heavier than you expected and stinkier. It takes half an hour to get it down to the bridge, then 10 more minutes to stuff it into the fridge. The lieutenant...
Beautiful. A dead body in a nice bare fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done. No, not really. Look at that. What have we done? We stuffed...
He means it. He doesn't want to be the Ice Bear cop.
As impressive as the fridge is, this is a small... At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection.
Inside the icy realm of the Ice Bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting. You touch the dead man's body. His skin is cold, light blue and silvery in the light of the fridge. You still have no...
It'll come to you sooner or later. At least he's safe here until then.
You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smells. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate. Even under this stench, you can feel it.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money. The electricity bill must be catastrophic. On the other hand, it did help us with a certain corpse situation.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. There is, yes. And there also appears to be something in...
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest. Take it. You're a police officer.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around.
He likes this find. The note is...
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best. Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place.
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left there. That's a plausible hypothesis. Really? You don't have a single guess? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed. Based on... I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the Ice Bear fridge.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen. Turning the crank feels oddly. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice. Something close to you.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. Somewhere, a machine hums along with the current. A thick layer of coal dust covers. Looks like this furnace has a face. And it's a face.
Looks like it. Looks like no one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. The echo is so prominent. It's impossible to just.
What are you doing? Wait, really? Maybe it's gonna... We should ask the lady in the bookstore what's going on with these curtains.
A lush layer of coal. Maybe you could paint something with... A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly. Your arms reach out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over. They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in. You're not far. The oral cavity is cold. You're on the right track. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by... You see a hole, barely visible to the human, and abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Why? Yes, that's what this part is called. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What? This man will never sleep again. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structure. The lieutenant answers with a Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity. Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Sharp, serrated material. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush.
Can you get to it?
There's a tiny crack. The object that is in there stopped.
We have the makings of a very small exit. Wait, detective.
Out comes his small folding knife. The lieutenant moves its blade.
Withdraw your hand.
With a crack, he punches the knife in the skull. Then, one more time, and one more.
Can you push it out?
A small flower of metal blossoms from the...
A bullet. Unknown caliber. Rifled. You may remove your... Here's your prize. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound? Opinion, fatal injury. And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion, non...
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead. I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not mark? There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No, sir.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. That's for us to find out. But this, it will make fun to hide something. The real killer, the real... Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling Rise should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. Yes, we should take a closer look at...
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone. Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything today. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more
The word lingers in the air of the basement. Detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny... The squashed bullet. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets.
What? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find a... If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who you... In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellow... The core is lead. The brass jacket probably didn't cover the entire bullet. Otherwise, you can just about make out a few striations near the... It's quite destroyed.
What can you say about the bullet so far? Okay. Jacketed means it would have been shot.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol have...
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is...
Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while. A rifle, revolutionary period. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the... Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found. No, but Zeliga, a major firearm manufacturer, and antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few...
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martin. Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of... Some new RCM recruits get impatient with...
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without... But back to the investigation. Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun. Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez. Oh, sure, there's some new...
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a...
Imagine if everyone, cops, But back to the investigation. Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand crank.
You broke down the back door, the wards, the door. I suppose it's all over now. Just a door? This place is cursed, Detective. I hope you're happy now. Happy that you've ruined everything.
Host Almighty, she prays, guard me and my honest business venture from the curse.
Of course you didn't. You're nothing but a... All right. You know what? I'm willing to let you investigate the doomed commercial area. But before we go on, tell me, did you encounter the malignant entity? Yes, the malignant entity that lives inside the chimney. It takes the shape of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she knows more about the curse than she... Yes, I've heard that. It's enormous. She has barricaded herself. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask...
If you're really interested in cracking this mystery, then we should go back to the furnace. Maybe you could yell into it, or...
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits. The curse is so much worse than you could... It's the curse of financial distress.
Didn't that curtain just move?
It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived.
Sounds familiar.
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off you. You shouldn't. It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail.
Wow. Void raves. You have new words.
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building. Even though now I feel... Oh, this! No, it's a special... There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different
Desert pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to
Yes, the Simonees are very crafty, and their wards are extremely...
The woman looks aloof. Her
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here? Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. Oh, I found something while you... I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there. Maybe. It's the... Right, I have to get back to my homework now.
As before, this is directly above the central furnace in the cellar. The voices probably came from here. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring. Something breaks loose in you. You've awakened the entity.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you.
You hear a low rumble.
After you, officer.
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. So what kind of...
Could this be the malicious entity? She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her.
Yes, Amelie is like a call-in station. You need a... Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. But I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing...
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Very good. My rate is 10 real. Take a look around and see...
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are unnatural. This person means you or no one else. Absolutely no harm. She will answer freely and honestly.
How did I become one? It was a business decision.
She doesn't let it show, but there's anger in there.
Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. Not especially. I like working with rare materials.
Some of those nice people have big... She's thankful for the security they provide her.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. Ah, yes. Fortress Accident. The Wiro Untethered die. is a variation of a standard rope.
Ice, death.
I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice and dead as... It's an icositetrahedron, a 24-side.
Loving it. So nifty.
Untreated bone is porous and prone to chipping. Cast it in some... Great. See you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else? Nothing really.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with... The lieutenant looks at his notebook.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard.
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruck. Well, there's always something going on in the whirlings, but during daytime there are usually those kids. And lately...
She's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. I might have, but in this case...
It's light here, but...
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides...
This person values focus above all. She keeps her sharp sight on the instruments before...
It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to...
Plaisance was right. There's an entity...
Creative.
More or less. Are you interested?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
Oh, this one's a mess. Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an...
What's the snuff, Milia? Trust me.
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with...
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with...
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club. A community project created to steer a kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse.
It's not really full of that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten... Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a bit...
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet. You mean Mr. Fabron? Anything else? There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years. The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Really? Anyway.
Poor guy. Suddenly, you get a feeling that insects are important to the case somehow.
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making... Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is. The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait.
Men like that are a curse.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. I have no idea why those keys and blades
They were just props. Why return them?
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing. They certainly took their work very seriously. The usual, they ran out of money. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest. Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is important.
Still, not everyone is going to make it. That's the nature.
The result is the dice is black and filled with...
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revo Show ICT. You're in for a treat. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest, and by man the booth, I mean slumped behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Sounds like she really... Fritta does the same thing.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs, and they already had the bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. Eventually, Ravishell ICT lost the price war to its rival, Class A 5000. Class A 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. Maybe, because the taxi... He said that the bear was his vision beast.
Sounds cool. Scary. But cool.
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary by telling you to do more drugs, mostly. Very good. You shouldn't do them. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream and...
Little sparkling embers under the window.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
It can't be true. They don't work. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore. Tricentennial Electric. It used to be a major electric company.
No, it was something else. It was eerie.
Pranks can be eerie. Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing. Right, it used to be my advice. Don't base your business on a fad.
Agreed. Pinball.
His disdain for pinball could not be clearer.
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there.
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work, but sure, what do you want to know? Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure it can't be. Are you sure it was Slipstream? Oh right, but did this Tricentennial used to...
No, it was something else.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. We were... Sure, I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else? I've heard the stories. but I don't think those stories are true. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to roleplay.
It's because she's in cahoots with the demons.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean?
The jig is up. Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Exactly. Truth is, but I'm glad we got this sorted out. And
Plaisance is not going to like what you have to tell her.
I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarifies.
Anti-object task force.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated.
Didn't we already talk about this? What are you talking about? My address is...
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruin.
This doesn't make any... Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? And what? Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
She starts laughing, her fingers trying to...
Do you know what this is? It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the... I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan. It wasn't just a jewelry shop either. I always thought that it... And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney? Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a... That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you... It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is...
The narrative she's built herself. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertain... To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
Oh, how horrid! Tell me, did you find a way to break the curse? What does that mean? Are you certain? All that matters is that the energies are retreating. I thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better...
She so badly wants this. It will only last a day or two. A week tops. Then...
All right then. All's well that ends well. Should we
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph.
You keep coming back! That's good, officer! Keep browsing those clothes, keep saving that economy! You keep coming back! That's good, officer!
No good. All you can come up with are some treats.
No luck? Why not take another look of...
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what... Yes. And it's critical. Look at yourself. You need to get so magged up. Yes. If you want to...
You keep coming back! That's good, officer! Keep browsing those clothes, keep saving that... You keep coming back! That's good, officer!
Something cold grazes your hand. Practical, and yet...
Good choice, officer! Mega sporty! And it's only $4.50 for you, sir. Gotta prepare for springtime, right?
The speakers below are banged up and work.
The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100% guaranteed. Shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. Oh, very interesting choice, officer.
This is how a sea monster sees the world. All right. Yes. But they all...
Wow! And they can be yours for a mere
The lieutenant tilts his head and
You look like a musician. Like a blind musician. But you could do worse. Take them if you want.
abort.
Damn off!
It's going to be...
No, you are definitely not buying. No, I can't. We can't walk around with you looking like this. Okay, fine. Go ahead. If you want to look like a walking midlife crisis, then who am I to interfere?
A man who knows his style. Much respect. Everything still...
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of... Why? What's this? A headless...
Oh, that's the headless phone rider. The headless phone rider. 50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be...
All the old... A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor. What a shirt. All other shirts pale in comparison to the muscular man with antlers and immense Zweihanders. The afternoon sun shimmers off the white on blue. Police do something important? Something murder-related? This is a Caprice Canema. The Caprice Motor Corps, with its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine. The high center of balance is offset by a large... Due to a quite steep price tag, it is very unusual to see one in police livery.
You want to take a closer look? 100
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
7.2.
Saying these words brings him immense joy.
Yes. And
it's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing in. Helium headlights would improve the It's a bit girly right now. Fit it with some proper off-road components.
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to... Maybe. Yeah.
And means no.
Yes.
It's nice. Helium, it's a bit girly right now.
We are not going to, though. Because this is clearly a sports...
Vigilance officer? What can this... What is this? Are you...
Now. No need to get angry again, René. I'm sure the office...
The best, huh? This isn't even a bull.
He mumbles something to himself. It seems to be a variety of...
It's a Belle McGrave. 4.4... This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still, I'm not surprised. There are probably lots of forgotten. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find.
Still.
Anything else I can assist you with, officer?
It is such a pleasure to see you again.
Fuck does Kuno care? The fuck do you want with it? Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape.
What?
What? Fuck you, shit, back to normal.
Well played. No one saw that coming.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. The fuck about it? Your test. Get lost! Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't... Does Kuno care?
You were too pushy last time. Just look. While Kuno has no problem being near you, she came up with that psychopathic scheme of screaming for help before. Kuno just wanted to talk to you about his name. Kuno hasn't stopped talking to you. Even enjoys it from time to time. When you talk to the other, all in all, Kuno respects madness. You cannot hope to outdo her on that front. You must win yourself a few minutes with him alone. Kuno is by far the worst of the two. Kuno has no problem being near you, while the other hides behind the fence. She came up with that psychopathic scheme. Also, all in all, Kuno respects madness.
Fuck you whispering about?
He's whispering too. He's going with it.
Fuck you! Whispering about...
She puts extra stress onto that word.
If Kuno wants to whisper, he's gonna fucking whisper, okay? Let's whisper, pig.
This is it. You've got him. But be careful. You can still fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this.
Crazy? You don't know the half of it. She's not crazy. She's insane. Stop talking to him!
She understands what
Yo, see? Did Kuno not tell you? Kuno told you. Talk, pig.
Kuno's got it under control.
You did it. They're separated. He's even turned his back to her, so she can't read his lips.
Kuno means she killed someone. That's right. Caesar.
His little green eyes are fixed. He's meant everything he said before, but right now, he not only means it, he is sincere.
Are you getting this? You think I'm fucking telling you a joke here? How hard do you think it is to kill a fat ass? Sweet talk him. Then she's probably killed a pig too. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has. Forget Kuno said that. Kuno was just shitting. Kuno was just running his mouth. Kuno's stupid like that.
The creature peers at you both from fear.
Yeah, she would have liked to fuck him up, but she didn't. Kuno, look, Kuno's gonna put you at ease.
He speaks the truth, my liege.
Yeah, she's psycho. None of that kiddie psycho. Cat burning shit. She does the snuff radio shit. Believe me, pig.
And he doesn't even want to think about it. This isn't just another boast.
Yeah, I saw you back when you waved your gun and it went off. She does the fisher people knack thing when she used to say it all the time. Knack this, fisher people that. Now she only says it. Hey people, she's one of them. Then she hates them. Then it's none of our business. That's what a knack is. Kuno keeps his nose to himself.
She regresses and pretends she's a mythological creature when she's under too much stress.
Fuck knows. She says it's the song of crazy people. The fuck.
Sounds boreal, like something from the tundra and tiger-covered cutler, Isola. You mean evil little...
Suroese? Like that man from...
Revelshot does have a small Suroese community, or she...
Fuck no, she's not my sister. She's just a stray who got in. Like, yeah, she was just there.
What was that, Kuno?
She was in the hallway, dripping wet, by the fucking shoe rack, in the dark. Yeah, that's the place. She was just Kuno's got no fucking idea. Her hair was all wet. I think she pissed on the floor too. She was there for 3 days. I don't know. Someone left the door open. Kuno comes home and she's sleeping under the desk. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit. Doesn't even see her there. Or thinks it's fucking Kuno. Shit's all on Kuno. How's Kuno dealing with this? Kuno's dealing with it just fine. He doesn't need you fucking with this. Wait, Kuno's got this shit under control. Listen. See, it's Kuno's go-to. Kuno's protecting her. You fuck with C.
This is what it all comes down.
I'm going to kill you. I'll run when you put the cuffs on her, sneak up on you later, and fuck.
He may not be able to do it, but he will try. Right now, he believes.
Alright, now we can do business. Yeah, what do you want? Kuno can hook you up with... Don't hook him up! See, relax. He respects the Kuno. Kuno made him respect the Kuno. Kuno's gonna get you hooked on illegal narcotics if you run a little errand for the Kuno. Get you hooked, pig. Get his hook in you. See, it's tension and release with Kuno. Now we releasing. The pan buying shit, that's on now too. 90% discount for Kuno's pig. Kuno flexes for hobos. Kuno sees you're in need. Here, pig, we're fun now. For Kuno can already see you soaring through the air like a fucking eagle. Pigs in Kuno's...
Money debt doesn't mean anything. He's just saying...
Kuno gets it from his dad. Kuno and his dad are major suppliers. That's where Kuno gets his lightning on. Problem is, Kuno and his dad had a little falling out. Now junkies clawing at Kuno's door. Streets going mad. Kuno's got to throw his dirty popo man at it. Dirty popo man is you. In there is Kuno's violent dad on steroids. Kuno's dad does steroids and speed. If you can take him, you can have half of the speed.
Kuno's dad is a fucking monster. He's the most violent man in Revachol.
Are you sure you can take on the most violent man in Rev?
Like half. A baggy, but...
That's half a...
Yeah, half a G. Want it or not? Fuck you talking about half a G?
You can barely see it, because there's...
Okay, Kuno's listening. Sure, confiscate it. Just get in the apartment building. Kuno knows you already fucked your way in. Go to room 12, first floor, and kick down the door. Police violence style. That's it. Next time Kuno sees you, you better have his shit.
What the hell are you signing us up for here? Okay then.
Kuno doesn't...
Before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case they gave me. I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case they gave.
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn branch. There's a yellow ribbon tied to one of the branches. Light yellow. Someone hid the key in the bush and attached the yellow. It's close enough to the latch up there. One can slide it open and just take it.
Huh?
I don't know about that. I'm comfortable here.
Sorry, fucko. Looks like you're gonna have to go bush dive.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
With a loud thud, the old man stands up, pushes the window open, grab the key is brass. Workshop spare is etched into its...
Come on, man. We were just having...
I'm tired of listening to your shit. Don't thank me.
There is a silence around this man's words. Unlike Titus, they're afraid of him.
Didn't even know it was there. Boys. No idea.
Never even seen it. Someone must have hidden it there before this room became our place.
It could open the door in the kitchen. The blue door.
It's worth a try.
Hey, was there something you needed? Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting my time?
You see, it could be connected to the bar. The key fits the dimple lock. It takes a bit of effort to dust, rises, but no. Smells like... Over there, in the corner. Not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball.
The pinball machine. Gold is goats. A classic. A little.
Feels like a lot. Too much.
Ah, great.
Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting of a moustached man climb. The theme of the game is the peak of the mountain. Areas around the playfield represents Gordy's climb. Places. It takes a while to get into a rhythm. Go, go.
I feel sorry for the goats. If the kind of a guy who you... An avid huntsman too. He was often photographed in his dining hall. He also hit his wife and kids. But you seem to be having fun.
Your game is suddenly a special maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit. Tiny hammer shatters something inside the machine. Something glass. The words pale rupture light up on the...
Congratulations. This is where the game ends.
There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost impossible. You're down to your last goat. Go. You're in a perfectly balanced system where neither you nor the pal is able to get the upper hand. This could go on forever. There goes nothing. All these mesmerizing machines, just waiting to be plugged back. Feels like it might jump back to life any...
Some kind of inane pinball theme.
The lieutenant grimaces, looking at the machine.
You can't fire them up. They're...
What a dumb name. Royalist.
No, I love it.
He doesn't. Kim, Pinball, Kitsura. Exactly. That's what he's known as.
So now he remembers. Fine, I'm Kim Pinball Kitsuragi. No human being should. It is a game that requires no skill, and a child... It is lame. I am not called Pinball. It was used to taunt me. A long... Fine. I was a juvenile police officer for over 15 years. It's how I started out in the RCM. Once I had to infiltrate a pinball ring. It was not okay. I needed to become a pinball champion. End of story. That time is over now. I was already a 38-year-old.
So that's why he doesn't want to talk to Kuno. Trauma and stressor disorder from being a...
It's best if you handle the juvenile delinquents. Not only to you, I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi to everyone. No, we really need...
This small elevator is smells of nougat and sweat. Your head brushes up. The maintenance card under the control panel reads. There are large rectangular buttons. A small steel plaque reads Halter 800. Halter is a Koningsteiner lift.
That it does. I say, let's brave it. At the end of the last century. Look on the bright side. If it fails, we will...
It appears his whole enthusiasm is sarcastic.
Seems like a small freight elevator for transport.
So this is where they brought 40 pinball machines to. The lieutenant looks around the dusty, crowded room, inspecting the tools.
At some point, 20 years ago, 15 maybe? It looks like it. I'm guessing Martinez North Street.
A creak.
Downstairs in the hall, next to the main door. What?
Remember the dice maker? Then that means...
Ah, yes, as the novelty dice maker said. This has absolutely nothing to...
But then, it went bankrupt.
If that's true, then our cafeteria manager, he does not appear to be the kind of man who likes his establishment to be part of a neighborhood ghost story about bankruptcy.
Stupid superstition. It's not a ghost story. It's a curse. And God... You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust.
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new. 3 weeks maximum, from the dust coverage.
This is so good it makes him forget the whole Kimball.
This isn't bad at all. It was a good idea to see where that door leads. Commendable work bringing us to this place. It means someone snuck through what seems like a secret route. Behind Classius' room.
Large prints, most likely made by Boots. One person has been here. Shoe size is 41 to 42, maybe 43. It could be a large... Of course. Damn.
Between that and that. The size looks about the same, actually. They're not the same shoe, but they could be the same person. No, these little horizontal lines are different.
Everything around you is quiet. The prints crisscross the workshop. You can almost see the shape of a man and a woman writhing inside.
You can barely see through. Better not to... The footprints on the floor, however, definitely suspicious.
You lean closer to the peephole instinctively. I bet they're doing something. This is the inside of the barred door you've seen before.
Unless we veered off into a folded M dimension. I mean...
Folded M dimension. A reference...
Officer, what brings you up here in the rain?
Let's see. I wrote down the nickname Lelystad. We have questions that might help solve some gaps in our field autopsy. I'm sure my colleague...
The young woman cranes her neck, trying to catch a glimpse of the page, the lieutenant, the last missing pieces of a puzzle of flesh.
Blue. Light blue. They were like... Pardon the swearing. I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly.
He had a combat wound?
Yes. Severe. It made him...
Oh, yes. His hair?
It was light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine, made it oily. Oily, isn't it? We have that.
She understands what autopsies entail. It doesn't get her off balance.
He was 42.
42? Are you sure?
He had many scars that made him appear old. We even celebrated his birthday, like, some weeks ago.
Looks like you were right, officer.
Points are good. Have one, you old dog, before we all die. The young woman looks at you. Then, she's clearly sensing something. A spike in testosterone.
In Oranje, officer.
The Lelystad municipality.
You were almost right, officer. That means his race was occidental, not mondial. I'll update the form.
Yes.
Did that bring...
No. He was too old for that. And from another part of Oranje.
No love for Muta Oranje? Wasn't he a soldier?
No. He left the national service after they taught him to do... He was by no means a stupid man.
A flash of rage comes over you. The words have already left your mouth.
Had he passed that test, we wouldn't have gotten along. I love Revachol, though. I hope... Oh. That. Sure. Waterways. It was mostly for showing. How? Imagine him lying in bed. Freakish musculature laid out on the sheets. Scarred, of course.
Is this Oranese lit?
Yes. This is the very essence of Oranese lit. He's smoking and drinking, of course. And his chest and shoulders and arms. And the woman goes like, "What was this, baby?" And he says, "That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that." So she goes, "Okay, but what's..." And so it goes. Star after star. Port after port. Oh, yeah. No, thank you. I've seen enough of him dead. I can tell you what they meant with...
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of... He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people in the Semenine Islands. And on other islands, too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Rev... It is when you're high. It can be very exciting then. You have the tools to deal with it. It's not a very nice story to remember when you're sober. A change of topic? It very well could be. What do I mean? I have no idea. I don't even know what you mean. That's not funny.
Her voice is like a slash through the air. There. She momentarily lost control over straight back guy.
Of course I do. I'm hungover.
Do you feel guilty?
Among many other things, yes. I could have done something.
What is this? An interrogation? You didn't tell her this was going to be an interrogation.
A real rainbow splattering of pharmaceuticals, I bet. How much does the toxicology report cost the police of Revachol? I can do it for...
It's quite expensive, miss. But we'll manage without your help.
The lieutenant... All right, let's see where this is going.
Cool.
All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more. Wait, stop. That man. Below the damage. The wicks of decomposition. How old are you? That's where this is going. You could ask either one of them.
Huh.
She's by. Look who's finally awake.
I don't know. 1, 2. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. How old?
You're not.
Sure he is.
Yes, but for him that...
Wait. This requires sign to the laboratorium. This window is pristine on the...
Looks like it, yes.
Smooth as I... Following your lead, the lieutenant...
Hey, was there something you needed? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, okay, well...
He's really... It takes a lot of willpower not to ask. Obviously, he's been wanting to know what's been...
Okay, what is back there? Ha! I knew it. I've always wondered where those machines by the door came from. I knew it. Were there any back there? In working order, I mean. No, I was just wondering.
He was wondering about something business-related, about how much money he could make of one.
Those machines are whirling property. But if it makes you feel any better, it wouldn't hurt to get a little life in here.
Yeah, those numbers, he... Sounds like he cares about the place. He's not going to be... He should still know. You have to be forewarned about these things.
What wall? I'll have it fixed at once. Thank you for letting me...
The color has drained from his face.
Absolutely not. Fuck you for even...
Well, he's definitely not lying.
Sir, he was only asking a question.
Yes, I absolutely will. Sorry, it's been a bit of a day. Thank you, I'll patch it up personally. Was there something else about the establishment? What? Why would you say...
So he knows of the doomed commercial area.
Everyone knows of it. I've been working here for a long time, and that intercom has... It's a sign of the whirling in rags.
Relax, Mr. Gart. I'm sure there is no doom. He simply wants to share his discoveries with you.
Does this look like part of a doomed commercial area? This for 14 years, man. That's how long I've worked here.
He's done a fine job too. Though he's spoken of the place dismissively before, the hostel is actually very important to him.
Yeah, it's slowly growing on me again, even if it is part of the damn doomed commercial. I don't place much stock in the curse and so on, but the label frightens the clientele. Who wants to stay at a doomed hostel? Everything's doomed enough without that. Some real estate management company, they never come around here, just collect money from it. Well, it's sure as hell...
It was you?
You're surprised. What? It's a great... Hail, Holy Queen, by the Ateniers. Hail, Holy Queen of the Sea.
Good pick.
what about them? One is a basement dive frequented by chain-smoking communists.
He's hesitating, not sure if he should share this information with you.
The other is a kebab cart. It's very successful in its way, but it's nothing like the whirling. Luck has got nothing to do with it. I need to think about where I'm going to place those pinballs.
Against the doom, it's implied.
So, if you didn't have anything else to tell me about my establishment, can we, Yes?
Again? I can't believe this shit.
Yes? What is it?
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme. Hi again, gendarme.
It's the sports. He's a sports guy, all about that physical prowess and athletic skill. Nothing else.
Bye-bye, gendarme. Hi again, gendarme.
Could he be just pointing it out? We're not talking about some kind of cult with members here. You made it.
The homosexual under... Why, yes I am, officer. Why? Do you want to invest? Oh, it's a pleasure group. A Sub Rosa pleasure group congregating in cellars under the cover... Or Thursday night. Sometimes the congregating doesn't even... Oh, we're ambitious. We want to destroy the last vestiges of meaning. The last things people in Rebbe shall have. Everything will be constantly shifting and moving under our rule. The future will belong to a circus of identities just spinning around, surreal and unreal. You won't even know who... But do you also like the razzle-dazzle of gold? Because instead of the traditional family unit, we're going to have all this razzmatazz. And mysteries, of course, too. You can't just get into it. You have to be born into it. One is either already in the homosexual... Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. Who knows, maybe you were... I have to say that you do look like someone who might be part of the underground. You have that very distinctive... Do think about it, officer. Absolutely wonderful.
A man like you can figure out his sexuality in a working day. It won't be 20 hours, unless you want to enter the heightened realms of the...
Oh, and if I may ask, gendarme...
He's all bemused skepticism. He doesn't actually care what you want with his friend.
God, of course it is. My friend, as though I don't have enough. In any case, I would love to help. But the thing is, I don't know where he is. He might have mentioned something about making a tour of some historical sites up the coast. In an unofficial capacity, of course. Not a clue. I guess you will. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Vigilance officer? What can this old carabinier do for you? Vigilance officer? What can this old...
As Rene turns from you to his partner. 2. The larger one is shaped like a crowned head. It's the Croix de Bravoure. A small blue The setting sun was a decoration.
For bravery.
It's a conflicted topic for the old veteran. There must have been a number of controversial...
I'm sure. But I know this uniform's reputation. You are also wondering if I got this for raping women. Honor is everything.
Whoa. Sounds like you're about to open the gates of conversation. This man...
For doing my...
He saved some muddy princeling.
It was on the first month of the King Free Sale. Alas, the young Drisson was all...
Purple velvet tunic.
To keep the long and bloody story short, Drisson, the rebels were smart. They let us come real close before. I got shot in the left shoulder. Then his horse. Driven...
It's painful to hang on to the story. Veterans get sentimental after such retellings.
I grabbed my sidearm.
Capitana!
The bane of...
When I came to, it was all over. The Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one. He didn't. I hoisted the prick on my... Through some miracle, we both survived. He was the commanding officer and I was on duty.
You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. More than the old carabinier.
What, Monseigneur? And that heathen what?
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down.
Sorry, officer. How did you find the story to be, officer? Maybe, but also bear in mind... Oh no! You have to get shot.
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Poltroon. Duty? Bah! There were many such stories.
Oh yes, René, yes.
I'm not getting in...
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier.
It is such a pleasure to see you again, officer.